one of the best advantages to this nomination, to Judge Sotomayor's nomination, is that she has one of those you can't make this up stories, life stories. She is the child of Puerto Ricans. She was born in the United States. Her father died when she was 9 years old. In fact, the story is she only spoke Spanish until she was 9 years old, and was then raised by a single mom in the projects in the Bronx, and her mother was a nurse in a methadone clinic. She grew up in one of those areas that's roughly near Yankee Stadium. I mean, a tough, tough area. But obviously, she was a superior student, scholarship to Princeton, head of her class, gets into Yale Law School, and ascends to edit the Yale Journal, which most law schools call the Law Review. And what's interesting about that, right there, is that this tells you something about her intellectual capacity. In addition to the life story that she brings to the table, and I'm talking about the advantages of her right now, it's well known that President Obama, during this whole process, was staying up late at night reading legal briefs. You know, now who else does that other than the constitutional teacher and scholar that the president once was? I mean, who else would find it fun, as he told one group? He told one group, we were reliably told, you need to read these briefs. These are great. He didn't say who he was reading, but now we know. And so what the president wants is not just a liberal justice, and let's be clear here, she is a liberal justice. She is pro-abortion rights, very well known. But he wants someone with an intellectual throw weight to really engage the debate with Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Scalia in particular, because this is a court with a 5-4 majority, with Justice Kennedy, conservative majority usually, with Justice Kennedy usually, but not always siding with the conservatives. And President Obama always let it be known that he wanted an intellectual heavyweight that could, in essence, really engage the debate with the conservative side of the court. And so clearly he gets this, he has nominated Justice Sotomayor because she has this, again, great only in America story, but has the intellectual firepower that he was looking for.
Okay, so we know why the president picked her. What are Republicans on the Judiciary Committee going to say to pick this candidate apart?
The first things you are going to see out of the Republicans, I've been told by several of them, is very neutral comments about how we plan to thoroughly examine her record. She deserves a complete look, very neutral stuff to begin with. But what's going on behind the scenes is a plan to come at her. Attack might be too strong a word, but certainly very sharp questions about whether she's not this centrist that the president wants to paint. Not a centrist who was once a tough-on-crime prosecutor, a trial judge, a corporate lawyer for 8 years. All that is true. But conservatives are planning a back-channel series of questions that will seek to paint her as a liberal activist judge who has the empathy that the president was also looking for, with empathy being code for some sort of systematic bias in favor of the little guy or minorities or anti-corporate interests. And she will have, and she has over her career, given them some ammunition. She's made 2 speeches where there are already plans being made to use these speeches against her. In 2005 at Duke University, she famously said that the courts of appeals are where policy gets made. She immediately tried to take that back, but it's out there on the record. In 2002, at a speech at UC Berkeley, she said that, let's be matter of fact here, race and gender make a difference when judges do their judging, and that personal experiences enter into this. She was saying it matter-of-factly, but again, it's all going to be part of the process where conservative activists and Republicans, and maybe even some conservative Democrats, question whether she is a quote-unquote liberal activist judge who wants to make the law and not interpret the law.
So Republicans, Democrats, the president, they've all said it's about 60 days has been the average confirmation process. How realistic is that in this confirmation? Do you think it will go on longer? Why?
My guess is this will happen on time. An awful lot is known about Judge Sotomayor. She has a very long paper trail. I will imagine that Republicans may try to mount some effort where they say, look, we've got, I think it's around 150 major decisions that she has written while an appeals court judge. We need to look at all these, and they'll have a point. but that was also the case with Chief Justice Roberts. He was an appeals court judge, as was Justice Alito, and they took roughly 70 days. And so the president, on purpose, is making this appointment. You know, he's got a very busy domestic and international travel schedule. So it's clear that the president made this appointment relatively quickly at the end of May, so hoping that this will pressure the Republicans, in essence, to have the hearings on time in July and have Justice Sotomayor confirm, I should say Judge Sotomayor confirmed in September, so that she'll have preparation time for the October term.